Hi everyone. This is a video about a new daily reporting process or system that we're going to put in place effective as of today, the 6th of December 2016. Daily reporting up until this point, it's a vital part of the business, but it is also something that's done very differently by everyone, and there's sort of no consistency to it. So this is a method by which we can record the data, have the data as a permanent record, but also streamline the process to make it easier for everyone. So let's start by looking what is happening here. So first of all, up here we've got folders for each individual salesperson, plus a template file if we ever need to revert back to it. So for each salesperson, they will have essentially have a folder. That folder will be shared with them, and within that folder will be their weekly reporting files. They're Google Sheets. They're not Excel spreadsheets. Google Sheets is an online version of Excel. Basically, it's a web-based version as opposed to using a standalone program like Excel. So it functions in all the same way, except that it goes through your browser as opposed to going through the Excel program. So let's have a look at how we're going to do this. It's pretty straightforward. So I've got our calendar open, Google Calendar. Everybody should have access to the ACS Bathrooms Google Calendar, which shows what we're doing every day in terms of deliveries and any other information that is relevant to any day. If you don't already know this, just very quickly, going into the agenda at the top there is really the easiest way to look at deliveries for the day with all the notes for those particular deliveries and what's happening with them. But let's go back to month because I want to show you how we're going to name the files to begin with. Okay, so we're going to use Angus's folder here. Angus's one as an example today. So you'll note that the date on this is the 10th of the 12th, 16th. Why? The 10th is the end of our working week. Okay, so you can see here, Saturday 10th, end of the working week. Give it that. So that's how we're going to name the files. So once you complete this G sheet, which will go through for a week, then you'll copy this, make a copy of it, and then name it. Name the next one 17th of the 10th, 16th. Of course, if you copy it, it'll copy the data along with it. So the other option is to go to the template folder, and that'll be a fresh one, and you can do it that way as well. So I'll make sure to share the template folder with everybody as well. So let's have a look at one. All right, that's going to open in Chrome. I've already got Chrome open, so it's going to open it here. I might just drag that out and put it over here. Okay, so as I said, pretty straightforward, but you may wish to have this open at the start of the day and just work on it throughout the day. You may do it at the end of the day. It's not really important, of course, as long as it's submitted to the right people at the end of the working day. So this is how we do it. These are the cells here that we're going to fill in. So we use today as the example. So 6th of the 12th. Angus is our example today. He works at Wallara. Let's say it's a relatively busy day and Angus gets 10 calls. He gets 4 walk-ins. He takes payments of, Now, I must say, please do not put the $sign in here. Just put the numbers. Okay, the dollars will sort themselves out, and that will it will actually mess up some formulas on the weekly tab, which I'll show you later. So just the numbers, thanks. Invoices written. A pretty good day for $10,000. Quotes completed. I'll say he got through 8 quotes. Called a few architects when he had the chance. Managed to hand out a few brochures or emails. Received a couple of projects in and completed one. So a fairly busy day for Angus. Now getting down to the details. So this is where, much like in the current reporting, when you're just emailing this is where you can fill that similar information in. So just like you do now, we want to see the customer names, we want to see any quote numbers. But let me make something really clear here. This is not for follow-up information. There's another system for follow-up information, and that will be individual follow-ups per individual quote. So this is really more about customer calls that you received and basically any action that was sort of taken or anything that happened when that customer called, that quote called. Again, different to follow-ups. All right, so an example might be that 903644, Sally Jones called and finalised an A127C purchase, something of that nature, hopefully. Just hit enter. It will center it for you. You don't need to do any more formatting. Projects and architects, look, the same sort of thing. Make sure that you quote any quote number, put any quote number that it was in particular, and if there is one, and any other details around projects and architects. Something that we'd like to see a bit more about is returns, issues, and shipping. I mean, we don't like to see more within the business, but it is important for that to capture that information, understand what's going on within the business. So please do fill in that information if you do receive anything around returns. Any customer issues, obviously we'll be aware of them anyway, but this keeps a permanent record, and we will read this, and I will pay particular attention to that. Any shipping issues as well, okay? Because we need to quantify and qualify these problems, and refine the business to make it as good as we can. And you guys are a really important part of that. Suppliers. Any communication with suppliers. I don't expect there to be a lot here, but it could have to do with displays, it could have to do with replacements or something, it could have to do with training, new reps, anything like that, anything relating to suppliers and supplier contact, and then any other notes throughout the day that really don't fit into those boxes. So you now coming down the bottom here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you'll see there's a tab for each day. All right, so just the same way, you fill in the correct date, and you work through that throughout that particular working week through to Saturday as the end of the week. And looking at the last tab, all right, this is a weekly summary total. Okay, so this is going to add up everything. So this is great for you to look at, great for everyone to look at, great for us to look at. We can see really how the store's performing through each individual person's reporting. So how many calls, walk-ins, it's all there. And then of course really great to see a tally of how the store's doing as well from a financial perspective as well. So going back to Monday, on a daily basis, the way that this is to be sent, it's very easy. You just simply need to go to File, Download As, and then a PDF. All the defaults are there. It should be pretty straightforward, just like this. Current sheet, you can leave this one ticked, that's not a problem. A4, fit to width landscape, it should be automatic anyway. Export. My exports will go straight into my downloads folder. I suspect that yours will as well, unless you have a separate setting. Show in Finder or Show in Explorer on Windows. It's going to take me to the folder, and there's my downloads folder. Let's open it up, let's have a look. Okay, so comes through quite neatly, a little bit offset, not worried about that. So all you need to do is you don't need to, this is not a permanent file. The permanent file is the sheet. So it's a temporary file. 10th, 12th, 16, Monday, that's fine. Just leave it the file name as that, because when you send it through, it's going to be from you anyway, so we know who it's from. And you can just title the email Daily Report 10th. You can leave it. You can just title it Daily Report for that specific date, 6th of the 12th, 16. Attach the file. Simple as that. If you want to put anything else in the email, it's up to you, but there's really no need, unless there's something specific you want to talk about separately. Finally, the other thing that you need to do, as I talked about, was after you've finished your week, you can then copy your sheet and create a new one for the next week. Okay, so going back up to the file here, There's a number of ways to do it. You can basically either copy that one basically, and then copy and paste within that folder, and that is going to create a duplicate file, and then you can rename that. But bearing in mind that then is going to be a filled in sheet, okay, which is fine. Or if not, as I say, the template folder will be shared, and you can simply copy and paste that in, okay, and do it that way. So none of this is an issue. Either way is fine. Other than that, that's pretty much complete. The weekly total as well. I think it would be useful if each individual person on the Saturday were to create a PDF of this also, and at the end of your working week, just export that as well. 10, 12, 16 weekly comes through nicely into your downloads, and along with your Saturday report, send a copy of that as well. Okay, and that's going to come through and give us a full breakdown. Excellent. Okay, look, I hope that makes lots of sense. It is pretty straightforward. It's definitely more streamlined. Everybody follows the same pattern. So if you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. All right, good luck.